Okay, we have the last round, which I think ends with an arm saddle back take, which we can definitely break down. So I think Levi just sinking straight into reverse Levi because he feels like he's getting a lot of work done there. Okay, he's doing a far grip. Not this feels kind of dangerous to be honest. Let's watch that again. Right. So I'm not sure why he's grabbing the legs. Um, maybe Hulk feels that way, but I feel like Hulk is leading more upper body. So I feel like if the person leads with the bottom of their body, right, and they're hiding their torso up, then yeah, I think K guard makes sense. But I think because he's basically on both knees, well, maybe that's why, right? If you're on both knees, it's actually easy to get the K. But I think it's easier to go for arm saddle here, actually, right? And Levi's in an okay position. I think I feel stronger when this knee is actually flared and the knee is pressing against the line of the neck. I know Lachlan talks about that in submeta, that the goal of this leg frame here is to frame their face away from you, which gives you access to the space for the arm saddle. But with this leg collapse down like this, I don't think it's very strong. I actually feel like I sometimes get past this way, but we'll see how it plays out. I again also Levi's legs are way longer than mine. He could just be hooking the far side arm. I can't really tell. Okay, it's actually on his belly, right? Yeah, here I would feel like I'm in danger, right? It is almost like Hulk has bundled both his legs, right? This does not feel good to me. Like, what frame does Levi really have with his right knee right now? He can flare it open, I guess, but structurally, he could go for a tire flip, right? He could lift this up really hard. There's nothing here. His arms are occupied. There's nothing framing on this side, and Levi could get rolled to like a far hit pin. I think that's something that's actually a threat here. But we'll see how this exchange works out, right? It looks like he actually is trying to flip him, right? Like look at his grip. He wants to lift him up, but it's the tiny little motions sometimes open you up, right? This is wide. He's circling. And Levi has just I really chalk this up to flexibility. Like, I don't think he has good structure. I can't tell where Levi's right knee is, but he's able to swing it in and just chop down into the right armpit of Hulk, right? Like this. Just basically like a matrix hook. And just torquing that, right? Like that's a legitimate entry, you know. I feel like the structure isn't as good because I'll watch it again. Right? His knee never gets shoved. That's Levi's knee, I think, right here. So his knee is still on the right ear side of Hulk, which is good, right? If the head beats this leg, you are fucked. Like there is no choi bar, right? Could back it up again. This knee needs to stay on this side of Hulk. And I think he does. He keeps it tight. He keeps it close to his armpit. And Hulk, because his right arm is here, he doesn't have an arm to address this, right? His left arm is opting to tire flip the bottom knee. And so like Hulk just doesn't have a means of removing this or even pummeling his head into this space because that's Levi's knee right there. And it's blocking off this space. So yeah, good choi bar entry, right? And then from here, the details you probably have to feel, but I know because Lachlan explains in the submeta, is that when you chop down, you get a back heel, and it's the pressure on the armpit, right? He talks about it in terms of you want to get the guy's shoulder pinned down to the mat. You don't want his shoulder pulled towards your spine. You want it pinned to the mat. And if you were to test this and feel this out, when the shoulder is pinned to the mat and someone tries to stand up, it's really hard to do that, right? Levi just fighting for his life, trying to strip the grip. S grip to survive, trying to step over. And then, yeah, right. That's a sick entry to the back. I think it's pretty basic, but I think if you don't play arm saddle, you probably don't know it, right? So the bottom leg comes in as a wedge against the face to try to pry the guy apart, right? Because you don't want the guy to stack into you. At this point, what Hulk is feeling is his thigh is clamping down on his shoulder, and this knee is framing his face away, right? So this a duck under kind of pass in this direction is completely shut off, right? There's opportunities at this point if Levi is not ripping his arm apart. Hulk is opting to defend, but like if it was a different situation where Hulk could actually grab the inside of his thigh, maybe it's too slippery or something. If there's time for him to do so, I think a very legitimate pass for this person who's getting arm saddled or choi barred is to use this left arm to pin this foot to the mat. You pin this foot to the mat, you knee slice over it, and you circle hard, and you basically end up in a thigh drag. But he can't, right? This foot is on the mat right now, but he can't because Levi's pulling for his life right now, and Hulk's leg is not close enough for him to defend to grab his inner thigh. Again, that's a very gi-based move. If you have pants, it's a lot easier. In no gi, he's wearing shorts too. It's the slippage is tough. So I think he's opting for an S grip here, right? Yeah, he's opting for an S grip, and then Levi's able to capitalize off that, knowing that okay, Hulk does not have legs. He does not have arms in the equation. I can now post up on my left shoulder. My hips become light. My weight is in my shoulders, and he pummels this foot over to frame with his shin against Hulk's face, right? And now, yeah, exactly. This is what you have to worry about sometimes. You have to worry about what people call a flop. And that's if he throws his right hip towards your face, it's sometimes hard to deal with because you don't have the same frames that you would normally have on like a K guard, right? There's nothing framing this hip, right? All the frames as the attacker is on the upper body. There's nothing controlling the lower body. So some people might feel like, oh, I can just circle. I could just throw my hip. I could just pressure in this way and circle hard around this way. And depending on the weight, just like difference, sometimes that works. Sometimes it's very annoying. I don't have an answer for it, or you have to opt to let go of one of your arms to frame the hip. I think Levi frames the foot. Right? Hulk feels that this is blocked off. I have to try to move my body this way, right? And right, try to step over his head, try to step over. But in doing so, right, because he has so much of his weight is compromised right now, and his face is just down, right? If he had posture, if Hulk has posture here, that is the wrong time to do this back step and to take the back. You should go for the choi bar. But because his hips are higher up, right, because he's walking across and circling, and Hulk's shoulder is basically pinned so heavily down by Levi's inner thigh, that then you have the opportunity to do a back step, right? Because the thing that you're trying to back step over is lower, right? It's an easier target to step over, right? He steps over, locks up on the far side, and he just gets the back entry off that. Sick. I also think if you want more if they do this, then I do this with the particular arm saddle that I play, I would highly recommend that you go over to the Few Will Hunt page. Nick Salles and Danny Maira both have put out like 20 free videos. They're very short, 2 minutes each approximately, very digestible, but they explain like this is how you enter an arm saddle. These are the frames we use. This is what you do if their head comes up and their hips go down. This is what you do if their head goes down and their hips come up. And I think that's a really good way to like kind of break down your techniques more, because you can't just like go in a position and say, I'm going to go for this because that's what I'm supposed to go for. Like you have to like still feel out where's their weight and what reaction are they giving to me, and then knowing how to capitalize off that. In this specific situation, I think Levi did the right thing. I think he had an easy target to step over because Hulk's posture was so compromised and down that he could step back over the top. I think the end is near. I mean, you get a good guy with a full triangle on your back, you're kind of fucked. It's hard. It's really hard. Kind of slipping off a little bit here, but I think he gets this right. Also, would have loved to have seen more of Levi's crucifix. Hold on, let's see what happened here. He switches his legs. Yeah, I don't have the best back control, so I don't have as many details to provide here. I think Lachlan and Gordon probably have really good instructionals in terms of like how to recover and to maintain control over the back. But yeah, this is a very common thing, right? People just kind of like butt scoot away, and you have to like find a way to drag their weight back on top of you. Personally, I don't have high success with it because I haven't sunk much time into it. So I honestly just take top, or I go for a crab hook and threaten claw grips and that kind of game, which is not great because back should. I think back and close guard you should ideally have like 100% submission rate if you're good. I think it's just such a dominant position, but I'm not good, so bro, Hulk looks like he's gonna die, bro. He looks like he's going through it, man. Yeah, I mean, I think he just strangles him. I'm not gonna break this down. That's actually kind of interesting. I haven't seen that. This kind of a foot frame where Levi hooks the leg. I think it prevents this foot from being on the mat because he needs this foot on the mat in order to shrimp to switch sides, right? It's almost like a crab hook, but like obviously not with as much knee torque. And does he not finish him? Damn, that's crazy. I thought he finished him. Wait, no, the round's his ends. There's another round? I have to do another round? Okay. I'll keep talking.